I want to pause and take us to a passage that really caught my attention. It is in Jonah 1 and 1 through 3, when God instructed Jonah to go to the city of Nineveh, and he went in the completely different direction. They say that he almost went to the ends of the earth. That's just how far he was trying to escape God. He intentionally disobeyed. This was not something that he did not understand. It's not that God was unclear. God was very clear. And I want to pause for the purposeful woman today and say to you that you cannot escape God. He is sovereign and his will shall be done. If you look at Jonah 1 and 1 through 3, he does not want God to show mercy to Israel's enemies. So there can be times when God is instructing you to bless someone else. God can be instructing you to pray for someone else. He can be asking you to intervene for someone else. And it may not be what you want, or a lot of times we may feel like the other person or the other people don't deserve it, especially if they are our quote unquote or so-called enemies, or people who we may feel like aren't living right. We may think, well, why them, God? Why should you even bless them? But God is not a God of partiality. He is a God called to nations, not to just one city, not to just one group of people. He is a God to the nations. And what Jonah did is a clear example of human resistance, resisting God's will. So this is an example of resisting God. And I just want to pause for the purposeful woman, because I want us to take some time to ask ourselves, is there anything that God is instructing you to do, whether that is to go back and perhaps repair a particular relationship? Maybe he's asking you to make a certain phone call. And we see that God speaks clearly, directly, and authoritatively. There's no ambiguity with Jonah. Jonah knows exactly what God wants. And again, this is intentional rebellion. So again, we're just taking a pause here to ask the purposeful woman to make sure that before we go further, that we are checking our obedience to God and that we are not in any rebellion. Jonah went as far as the ends of the earth, thinking that he was escaping God. Deliberate disobedience while attempting to escape God's presence. And we cannot escape God. And so we also see in Jonah 1 and 1 through 3 that he basically disagreed with what God's plans were to save others. So in our heart, again, we can sometimes feel like other people don't deserve it, or we don't want to be the ones to intervene to save another person's life or soul. You cannot outrun God's presence or his purpose for your life. And so here we will also see that God's mission is always bigger than our human preferences. God sees the end, the beginning, the middle, everything else in between. He sees the other person's heart. He sees things that you cannot see. His mercy extends beyond just us. And he does have a heart for nations, even if they are your enemies. And as we know, as believers, our choices affect others. If you read the book of Jonah, you'll see where the other men in the ship were terribly afraid, and how the winds and the storm was so strong and so heavy that the ship was getting ready to basically sink. So sometimes your decisions, our decisions, can cause others to sink. And something else I would like to point out about this passage is that even though it seemed easy for Jonah that he found a ship, sometimes those open doors for you that may not have been complicated. It may have been something simplistic for you. It may not have been very challenging for you to enter into that particular season. That does not mean that is or was God's will for your life. So basically, in Jonah's mind, when God asked him to go and warn the city of Nineveh, he basically heard, go help the nation that will one day destroy your people. And I think that is what we're dealing with right now. It is, if you're doing good, then that means I am going to suffer, that others can't do well, others can't grow, they can't prosper, they can't succeed, because if they do, then that means I'm going to lack something. Or in Jonah's case, he felt like if the city of Nineveh became stronger, then they would end up destroying his people, the Israelites. And again, the mercy of God extends beyond just what we believe and what we hope for and what we want. So in my opinion, I believe Jonah had a sense of entitlement. He felt like the favor of God only belonged to him and his people. Jonah was trying to escape God's assignment. God said to go east, Jonah went west. So today's purposeful woman is to encourage you to take heed and to obey the assignment God has put before you, because you are the purposeful woman.